Most people I've met they also say that when they go to the police station, they are the victims. They are the victims, but at that point in time, they are treated as the ones who provoked it. Is there a reason that we can say she provoked it?
There's no reason. There's no excuse for
like
rape.
Dressing real short skirt, being provocative, as they say, because they always say, if you rape, they rape and I fine.
No, I think there's no, we can't explain rape like that. No? There's no reason, because when people rape a 2-year-old child, what a 2-year-old child wearing this, how do you call it?
Small pants or whatever.
Yeah, you see wearing most of the time this
napkins.
So where can
diapers?
What can a 2-year-old child show? They rape even up to 1-year children here. They rape all mothers, 72 years old mothers, because one was just raped some few days ago. So all these people, so it's not a matter of the dressing. The dressing doesn't explain rape. So people cannot.
There is no excuse to rape somebody.
There is no excuse to rape.
So once you're raped, you're a victim. You should never think you're to blame.
Exactly. Once you're raped, you're a victim, and that's why rapists should be denounced, whether they're from the family or out of the family.
Okay. Before we go, I just want us to share, because I'm like, we won't have time enough to talk. Maybe I want you people to continue after the news, but we'll start with your own testimony. When did you become a victim? What happened? Make it very snappy.
Yes, actually at the age of 8, I lived with an aunt in Bamenda. So she left me one time for her buy and sell business in the bush market. And the grandson of the landlord, he raped me. Since my aunt used to leave me, when she went out, she would lock the door. And when I felt sleepy, I would go and sleep. And with the neighbors, I stay with them. But that day, when I was sleeping, I just felt that pain on me. And it was so sharp that I shouted. But when I shouted, he held my mouth. And he said, if you shout again, he removed a small knife from his pocket and told me, if you shout again, I'm going to use this knife. I'm going to pierce your stomach. And 8 years old, I was afraid. I stayed quiet. And he told me, if you ever tell anybody about this, I would kill you. And since being a child, he made sure that I really did not tell anybody, because my aunt even came back. And if I'm sitting with her doing anything, he passes by with the knife and reminds me of that. If I say anything, that knife is going to enter my stomach. And with that very knife, he dipped it in something by the side of the bed, that it is poison. So I was afraid that that poison should not touch me. I stayed quiet, and I never told anybody.
Where is that bastard?
He's there. He's there when I go to Bamenda. I see him.
Have you forgiven him?
I'm not sure I can forgive him. But I pray that one day God will make me to forgive him. Even though I used to beg God to punish him for me. Because now, when I knew that rape was really a crime, that I really had to tell my parents to follow up. When I was grown up now, I always prayed for him to be punished. And somehow it's working. Because I'm 50 times better off than he himself. Being at the age of 8 and he at the age of 22. And raping me, but today I can boast that I'm better off than he is. And
that's wonderful. You speak with a lot of courage.
Well, I just learned to speak with courage from the training that GTZ has given our son 8 and all. It takes a lot of guts to talk. It's not easy. And knowing that when you talk, your friends will just call you and say you told the public that. At times it's frustrating, but you need to talk. Just need to tell the public.
We need to break the silence.
To know what they have to do.
And that's what we're talking. Yeah. We'll come back to you later. Just time enough for us to go to Dinabel. Can you share your experience with us?
My case all began one Sunday morning when I was taken to a traditional healer by my mother. Because I usually suffered from stomach problems, something like menstrual bite, since I was 7 years old. So this time I was 10 years old. She took me to this traditional healer and explained the situation. After taking some money from her, the man told her he had not prepared any medicines for such an illness at the moment. That I should go and come back in the evening. So we left, and at about 4 o'clock in the evening, I came back for the treatment. So when I came, he asked if I've ever seen my menses. I said no. Then he asked if I've ever gone to bed with a man. I said no. Then he said he's surprised about my case because he's been treating such cases as a reward which occurred as a result of early sexual intercourse. I said no, I've not even heard about what you are talking about. So he said now the treatment will be the same. So he took something very frightful, gave me to hold in my hands. As I heard it, he told me we took something like an oath. He told me that I should swear after him that whatever he does to me, I must not tell anybody. Or if I do so, I will go mad, whosoever be the person. I will go mad. And this will not be simple madness, it will be serious madness. And since I was afraid to go mad, after that he asked me to undress. When I wanted to argue, he said, no, I've already sworn that I'll do everything he asked me to do. So I had no choice but to go into his bed. And this treatment had to continue for about 7 months, every Sunday morning. At one point, he even asked me that I should come in the afternoon so that when coming, I should bring him what my mother has prepared. So my mother usually gave food for me to take to him, like my doctor, but when I gave him the food, he eats, then he does his job.
So he had just good enough energy. He could not cure himself because he's sick, you know. That's what at times you want to wonder. How old were you then?
I was 10 years old.
You're 10 years old now.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
22 years.
You're 22.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys, okay? And you've just shared your experience with us. And you've helped so many Cameroonians where they are today. They are themselves asking questions if they should come out and speak like you. And I encourage women to do same because a lot of us, okay, we've gone through things like this without actually knowing that it was rape. Did your parents take any action against this guy?
No, my mother only learned of it when I was about 17 years old. It was not a guy, it was a man in his 40s.
A man in his 40s,
Yeah.
raping a child of 11.
Yeah, between 10 and 11.
And for how long did this rape go on?
For about 7 months.
For 7 months.
Yeah.
And your mother didn't notice the pain or anything, your change in attitude?
I had to hide, to be away from her because if she asked, she would force me to talk, and I was afraid that if I happen to talk, I will go mad.
Now, tell me, doctor, how are parents to blame? Let's make it real snappy. We will have time to continue after the news because I know people are asking for more. So how are parents to blame?
It's difficult to say because most of the time, like in their case, the parents are not aware of it. She's afraid of being killed with the knife. She's afraid of getting mad. So parents are not even aware about it. But parents should try to discuss, to be very close to their daughters and to their children in general, talk to them so that if such things happen, they should say it. And that's why we are launching this campaign so that children are also well informed directly that if any case like rape is happening, it's something bad, it's a crime, it's not something you should be hiding. Even if there is suspicion for that you are running to an attempt, you should say it.
Okay, we will be coming. We will still have our guest after the news because I know you're asking for more. And just time enough for you, 30 minutes for you to think over your own life, to see if you've been raped, to think or to see if you will break the silence today, to see if you have to go to meet your girl child to say, honey, is everything all right? Or to meet your boy to say, is anything all right? Is everything all right? We'll be coming back after the news and we'll be meeting our guest and we are welcoming your questions, or if you're breaking the silence wherever you are, you're welcome. We will continue after the news.